Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. We have WWE Smackdown to talk about. The road to WrestleMania becomes clear. We have several more matches that are either set in stone or are very clearly being built towards for WrestleMania. So let's go ahead and get started with this review. Thank you to everyone watching live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership very much. If you enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor and spread the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ Live and NoDQ.com. So we kicked off the show with a Shane McMahon promo coming off his heel turn at Fastlane. He had his Best in the World trophy in the ring. There were "You suck" chants from the fans. There was one fan, however, that yelled, "I still love you, Shane." We had Shane bring in the ring announcer to introduce Shane as the best in the world, but Shane was not satisfied with the announcement. Shane got in the announcer's face, had him do it a second time, but Shane was still not satisfied. So a third time, the announcer finally got it good enough to where Shane was satisfied. So basically, Shane's reasoning for the heel turn, he is sick and tired of the people in his life, the fans, the superstars, all of them asking him for help. He says that they're always asking, "What can you do for me?" And Shane is just tired of it. The crowd started chanting, "We want Kofi." Shane pretty much ignored the chant and said that everything stopped for him at Fastlane. He said he's going to start doing things for him now. He said that what he did to The Miz lit a spark in him. And then he officially challenged The Miz for a match at WrestleMania 35 and said that beating The Miz is going to feel awesome. There you have it. Shane McMahon versus The Miz at WrestleMania. No Miz on this show, by the way, which I was fine with because it sells the idea that The Miz is distraught about what happened. It sells the beatdown. I like it. I'm fine with it. Shane's reasoning for this, a little weak in my opinion, but it was okay. Tony H with the $2 super chat, first one of the night. Thank you, Tony H. So all McMahons are heels again in 2019. Oh my. Well, apparently Stephanie is a babyface now and Triple H is a babyface. I have no idea. But yeah, Shane's clearly a heel. And after this show, Vince is clearly a heel. After the McMahons were doing this big babyface promo in December and saying the fans are the authority. Oh, how quickly things change. Whatever. We had an 8-man tag team match. We had the Hardys along with Aleister Black and Ricochet against Rusev Day. And who are the other two heels? I did not put the names of all the teams on my notes here, so I'm already forgetting the other team. I think it was the Bar. It must have been the Bar. We had an 8-man tag team match, and it was fine. It was what it was. It was your standard 8-man tag team match. Interestingly enough, only Aleister Black got a full entrance for this. Ricochet did not even get his full entrance. But then again, it's an 8-man, so I get it. You gotta rush through this. But it shows to me that of these 8 guys, Aleister Black is the key player because he's the one that's getting the full entrance. The match was breaking down into this brawl with all 8 guys fighting. And then we had the New Day run out and they cleaned house. They took out all the guys. They were upset about what happened at Fastlane. Then we had a backstage promo with the Usos running down all the tag teams. I think they referred to the Bar as Swiss cheese and light mayo or something like that. And they said, consider this a warning shot for WrestleMania, to whichever team steps up to the plate. And then they ended it with their welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Then we had what, in my opinion, might have been the best segment of the show, probably the best segment of the show. We had Randy Orton in a confrontation with AJ Styles. Randy Orton talked about how in 2002, AJ Styles was wrestling in high school gyms, making $12 a night while he was getting started in WWE. And then we had Orton bring up how in 2004, AJ was wrestling in bingo halls while Randy Orton was winning his first WWE championship. I'm not sure who he beat for that. I think Orton just found the title in the middle of the ring. But the funniest one was when Orton brought up how in 2005, AJ Styles was down in Florida getting a tan with Dixie Carter. That's correct. Orton actually referenced Dixie Carter. No reaction, by the way. The crowd was like, huh? Dixie Carter and AJ, according to Orton, were in Florida getting a tan together back in 2005 while Randy Orton was facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania. This was enough. Enough is enough. That's all AJ could stand. He could stand no more. AJ came out and said that for somebody who knocks the indies like Randy Orton does, he sure does follow AJ's career closely. And AJ added that he's damn proud of coming from the indies. And he said that guys like Orton would not have made it in his world. And then he proceeded to mock Orton's pose. Orton responded by saying, speaking of knockoffs, AJ, along with his indie buddies, guys like Anderson and Gallows and Finn Balor, do the too sweet gesture, ripping off the NWO. And then AJ responded by saying, well, the RKO is a knockoff of the Diamond Cutter. They were going back and forth with their shots here. AJ brought up how Randy Orton is surrounded by all these indie guys now because they all earned their spots in WWE and did not have to go to their father to get the job in WWE. Orton responded to this by saying that he has accomplished everything in WWE. He's been part of 15 WrestleManias, and he's won the Royal Rumble twice, accomplished all these things. And AJ Styles said, well, you accomplished these things because you were part of factions throughout your career, like Evolution and Legacy and the Wyatt family even, and saying that all these people were babysitters. AJ said that he's not going to be Randy Orton's next victim. Orton says AJ doesn't have a choice and that Randy Orton is the landlord and that rent is due. You son of a bitch. Styles came back and said that if AJ came back and said if Orton wants his money, his rent money, then he's going to have to do it at WrestleMania. AJ pointed to the sign, and there you go. So it looks like we have Randy Orton versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 35. Really good segment here. I thought it was very well done. I enjoyed it. Both guys did a great job. I like the shots thrown at each other. Way better than the Batista Triple H promo from Monday Night Raw. Moving on here, we had Sonya Deville versus Asuka. Not much to say about it. Asuka won with the Asuka lock, and then there was some dissension teased between Sonya and Mandy Rose. No real clear direction for Asuka at this point. Trent87 with a $5 super chat says, promos were the best part of the night besides that and the Tag Team Mania bullshit. Yeah, the promos were really solid, and you know, it is WrestleMania season, so you got to do these big-time promos to set up the matches. This is typically when we get these really heavy promos with all the pot shots being thrown at each other because, you know, it's WrestleMania, it's the big time, you got to set up these top matches. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of promos on this show. It was a very promo-heavy show, and I do think that Orton and AJ had a really solid promo. Not much to say about the matches. They were all pretty much just thrown together. We had the Iconics cut a promo on Sasha and Bayley saying that Sasha and Bayley cannot run from them forever and they want the next tag team title opportunity. Next up, we had Becky Lynch come out for a promo. They showed a Fastlane recap of everything that happened. Becky talked about how she had to re-earn her spot not once but twice, and then brought up that part of the way she was able to get back into the title picture was because she was able to get inside Ronda's head. And she added, "Do you know how hard it is to play mind games with somebody who has no brain?" Becky also, I should mention that when she first came out, she had the crutch, but then she just threw away the crutch and limped down to the ring. My guess is that next week she'll just have no limp and she'll be back to normal. She said that at WrestleMania she's going to take the title and she's going to rip off Becky's arm. This led to Charlotte coming out. Charlotte said that Becky has been hot for 6 months. However, she's been hot for 4 years, and that's why Vince chose her for the spot at WrestleMania. And then says that Becky got a handout, basically, because Becky Lynch only won that match due to Ronda's interference. Becky responded by referring to Charlotte as a, and I quote, a plastic-faced dope. And finished the promo by saying, "We don't need a queen, we need a man to be in charge." This was an all-right promo. Was not Becky's best work, for that matter. But it was fine. I mean, no real issues here. I thought it was okay. Next up, we had a tag team match. We had Samoa Joe and Andrade versus Rey Mysterio and R-Truth. I'm a little surprised here because originally it was announced Samoa Joe versus R-Truth one-on-one for the U.S. title, and it was pretty much changed last minute into a tag team match for whatever reason, which I guess I'm not complaining about because I was the one making a big deal out of the no automatic rematch. So I guess somebody just said, well, we're not doing automatic rematches anymore, so let's just do a tag team match instead. And that way also Rey Mysterio and Andrade get TV time. So whatever. I mean, match was fine. What was interesting was that Rey Mysterio picked up the victory here and he beat Joe. Joe went for the Uranagi and Rey countered it into a pinfall. Afterwards, Joe laid out everyone, including his partner Andrade. So what does this mean? Does this mean Rey Mysterio is fighting Samoa Joe now at WrestleMania? I feel like it's not going to be Cena versus Joe, which is what I was initially thinking for WrestleMania. Could end up being John Cena versus Kurt Angle. I think that seems to be more likely at this point. Looks like it's going to be Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe, or they may just do another four-way match. Wouldn't shock me, or they add 2 more people and make it a ladder match or something. I mean, would not shock me if the match is just something random thrown together. But Rey Mysterio did beat Joe on this show, and one would think that would lead to a match at WrestleMania, with WrestleMania coming up so soon. We had an Alexa Bliss recap, which I don't understand what the point of this was. To me, like, this isn't that big of a deal, yet we got this recap and this epic music like this is some sort of big deal. Okay, whatever. Next up, we had the tag team match, another tag team match, holla, 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 players. We had Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan versus Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali. Eric Rowan ended up pinning Ali with the claw slam. Good match, but, you know, nothing out of the ordinary, just your standard SmackDown match. Like I said earlier, it wasn't really about the matches on this show. It was very promo heavy. The promos are what carried this show. The main event segment was another promo. We had Vince McMahon coming out to announce Kofi Kingston's opportunity for WrestleMania. Another recap was shown. Vince said that the fans only heard what they wanted to hear in regards to what Vince said at the pay-per-view about the triple threat. Vince said that Kofi, of course, failed the opportunity. And then New Day came out. They were pissed off. Big E said they're still treated like garbage and said that Kofi deserves more. And Vince corrected him by saying that Kofi does not deserve more. In fact, the fans don't deserve anything. Vince said even he doesn't deserve anything. Nobody deserves anything. Big E responded by saying that Kofi does deserve it because he has busted his ass and he has earned his spot. Vince said that if Kofi Kingston was worthy to have a WWE title match, it would have happened a long time ago. And then Vince really rubbed the salt in the wound by saying that one day, yes, the New Day, or should I say Kofi Kingston, will go into the Hall of Fame one day, but only as a member of the New Day. And then Vince added that it was the New Day members, Xavier and Big E, that were doing all the work. And then he finished off by saying that Kofi is just not championship material, and then added that he spoke with Daniel Bryan, and this was my favorite part of the promo. Vince said he talked to Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan said that Kofi Kingston is a B+ player. I love it. I love the fact that they referenced the B+. I mentioned this last week. I'm glad that it was referenced on this week's show. Kofi cut this passionate promo about all the hard work he's done over the years, busting his ass, not seeing his kids, wanting the opportunity. And then Vince finally said, all right, you want your opportunity, you're going to get it, but you're going to have to beat a series of people. Randy Orton came out. Eric Rowan came out, The Bar came out, Samoa Joe came out, and Vince said that if Kofi Kingston could win the gauntlet on next week's SmackDown Live, Kofi Kingston will get an opportunity at the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. The heels ran down to the ring. There was a big brawl. And what was interesting to me was that the New Day ran them off. You know, it was like 5-on-3, and the New Day still ran them off. When you make it where the deck is stacked against Kofi Kingston, where the 5 guys just beat them down, and then, you know, the announcer can say, this is not looking good for Kofi, although maybe the idea is that they have a shot, you know, the fact that the 3 of them ran them all off. So I could see the argument both ways. And that was SmackDown. Overall, I thought it was a good show. You know, SmackDown is pretty reliable as far as being a quality show goes. It's pretty consistent. So let's go ahead and do the letter grade for the show. I thought the Randy Orton AJ promo was the best part of the show, but all the promos were solid. I'll give it a B-. You know, there were a few things that I feel were not really necessary on the show. Like, what's the deal with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville? Like, what's Asuka's direction for WrestleMania? Like, to me, that segment felt like filler. Caitlyn gives it a B. Offman Rules gives it a B, better than Raw. Noah gives it a B+. Big G gives it a B. Chris Mace gives it a B. Screaming Sid with a B+. John Tompkins with a B. Tic Tat Tat, I love that username, with a B+. Jeremy Dorset with an A-. Brian Watts with an A. Dragon Roberts with a B-. So pretty solid ratings here. Maybe I was a little bit below what the chat room average is. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think it was like a great SmackDown or anything. But definitely better than Raw. I mean, that's pretty much easy every week. I mean, it's very rare where Raw can actually surpass SmackDown. It does happen every now and then, but not often. Ken Terminated by Google just left a $5 super chat. Says, did you talk about the Cherry versus Meacham rivalry? I have a feeling that it's going to be the top contender for match of the year. What do you think, Rift? Well, I'm all for it. Greg Cherry made the challenge for the Iron Man trivia match with Jeff Meacham. I mean, it's a lot of work for me, but I think it's going to be a hell of a match. We haven't done an Iron Man match yet. Jeff Meacham versus Greg Cherry, 1 hour match. I'm all for it. I say let's do it. I'm going to need some help with questions, guys, so email me, nodqmisc@gmail.com. Give me some trivia questions, ones that we haven't used yet, if you can. I know it's difficult because we've done like hundreds of questions over the past 70-something episodes now. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, can't wait for my shirts from Virtue. Oh yeah, you got the Fire Virtue shirt coming. Thank you for the super chat, Josh, and thank you for calling in last night. I really do appreciate it. Got a comment here. WWE needs to bring back Kofi's SOS theme for his WrestleMania match from JS Pin 401. Yeah, I think that would be really cool to see that happen. A nice little touch if Kofi's going to get the title match. Let him come out to his old music instead of the New Day music. So I agree with that 100%. He gets the title match. He comes out to SOS. But will he get through the gauntlet match? My feeling is, there'll be some shenanigans. AJ will probably cost Orton the match. There'll be a DQ or something, and he'll somehow squeak by. I don't see him cleanly beating all the guys. My concern is Joe getting beaten clean again when he already lost to Ray this week. So maybe Joe's the one that gets DQ'd, but then what happens with the Bar? I suppose the Bar can both get beaten, but yeah, it doesn't really do much for the tag division. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how WWE books this gauntlet match on next week's show. So anyways, that was SmackDown. Make sure you guys stay tuned to NoDQ and the YouTube channel this week for the NoDQ review episode number 50. 50th episode of NoDQ review coming up very soon. And maybe a few surprises coming up later this weekend. So stay tuned, subscribe, tell a friend. That's all I got for this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all so much.